Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and once again, welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we're heading to Zhuhai in China. We have finished with the European leg of the season, and we now head into Asia where the points become even more important with the championships on the line. Could any of our drivers or teams put one hand on the trophy in the next couple of races? We will soon find out. But first of all, let's take a look at the standings heading into today's round. And as ever, we start off with League 2. Callum Ilott leads the championship after Anderstorp, 121 points for the Carlin driver, ahead of Tomoki Najiri, the former championship leader, 103 points for the Japanese. Nick de Vries up to third on 91 points ahead of Ryo Hirakawa in the Carlin on 89. Alex Palou, former championship leader as well, in the Ram Racing on 84 points. Jake Dennis, race winner this season, on 78, ahead of Kimi Antonelli on 65, Nick Cassidy on 64, Stoffel Van Dorn on 57, and Rotoma Miata on 46. Looking at the team standings, Carlin leads the way on 210, building up a nice comfortable margin over the Andretti team on 186. Prema on 160, the top three getting promotion to League One for next season. Nothing is confirmed as to who those three teams will be just yet, but it looks like it will be those three teams, barring any sort of miracle in the last few races. Ram Racing fourth on 128, ahead of Dome on 110, Zach Speed on 84, Scuderia Coloni on 79, 40 Corsi on 63, Dams on 50, and Surtees on 40, rounding out the top 10. And at the back of the field, as it stands, Real on 12, LaRousse on 6, and Tolman on 5. And for today's race, we don't have any driver changes in League 2 to bring you, so we're going to head straight to the qualifying results and show you the grid for today. And it is a familiar sight. At the front, it's a Dome 1-2, Rotoma Miata on pole, ahead of Nick Cassidy, less than a tenth of a second splitting those two, but almost half a second back to Callum Ilott, our championship leader, in third. Tomoki Najiri fourth in the Prema Ilott's closest championship contender. Nick de Vries fifth ahead of Jake Dennis. Ryo Hirakawa, Louis Foster, Max Gunter putting in a really good qualifying session for the Real team, and we hope that they can score some more points today. And Stoffel Van Dorn rounding out the top 10 in the Zach Speed. 11th will be Luke Browning ahead of Colton Herter. Jessica Hawkins 13th alongside Kimi Antonelli in the Scuderia Coloni. Alexander Rossi in the second Real 15th ahead of Victor Martins, who has been given a second outing by Mike Smith. Alex Palou 17th ahead of Pato Ward, Sakai Sullivan, and Sarah Moore 20th in the Surtees. And at the back, Abby Pulling, Toby Sowery, Paul Laron, Dennis Hauger, Matteo Caroli, and Jack Doohan starting at the back, having picked up a back of the grid penalty last time out. That is your grid for the League 2 Zhuhai Grand Prix. Let's see what action China will bring us today. Let's get over to our regular commentator to bring you all the action. Tom Cairns, take it away.
5 races to go. Rotoma Miata and Nick Cassidy may be out of the running for the Drivers' Championship, but don't still have a fair chance in the Teams' Championship to gather promotion for League 1. The 5 red lights are coming on. Lights on, lights off in Zhuhai. Miata gets away well, but not as good as Cassidy, who's going to have the inside line into turn number 1. The Kiwi goes up the inside. Miata may have the high ground on the exit though. And it's Miata who remains in the lead for the time being. Cassidy having to settle for second position ahead of the championship leader Callum Ilott in the Carlin, followed by his closest championship rival Tomoki Najiri in 4th place. And it's the Prema of Louis Foster who's behind his teammate in 5th. And there we see Sarah Moore, who's just got a tap from one of the Colonis there into turn number 3. We are going to get a replay to see how that happened, and I believe, I'm just looking to see who that was actually. I think it might have been Kimi Antonelli that ran into it. No, it wasn't. It was Toby Sowery who ran into the Surtees up the inside, and I would imagine he is going to pick up a time penalty for that. Unfortunately, is Toby Sowery that was into turn 4. He made that contact. He forced Moore off the track there almost. It's a 10-second time penalty for Toby Sowery for causing a collision and gaining a position as a result. And Cassidy's taking the lead from Miata for your information. So he's made his way through and into the lead now is Cassidy. As we see Dylan go off the track, not for the first time this season. The Ram has found himself with so much work to do. He's damaged the front wing as well. And it's going to be a long, hard race, unfortunately, for the Australian Jack Doohan. In fact, he got a tap from one of the Tolmans by the looks of it, unless it was the Real, which we'll get another look at. We are looking at... It's Alexander Rossi. It's the Real of Alexander Rossi who ran into Jack Doohan. And he is going to find himself with a time penalty as well, I'd imagine. It'll be 10 seconds, just as what Toby Surrey got for the collision with Sarah Moore. So over the line they come, and it's a 10-second time penalty for Alexander Rossi, and a back of the grid drop for the next race in Autopolis. It's not something that team manager Ed Hunter would have wanted at this stage in the season, hoping his team would move up the order in the team's championship. Real have had another season to forget. 11th in the standings. Abby Pullen into the pits as well for LaRousse. She must have picked up damage on that first lap. And so she is another victim on the opening lap here in China. And we see Jake Dennis in the entry just ahead of his teammate Nick de Vries in 8th place. Andretti not quite up there with Dome or with Carlin in qualifying, although they are in front of Rio Hirakawa, those two. Now Dome have had so many reliability problems this season. Their highlight being in Parnu a couple of races ago, where they got a double podium finish, including the race win for Nick Cassidy. But other than that, they have struggled to get the cars to the checker flag. Upgrade window does open after this round, and give the team managers a chance to improve the reliability or horsepower on the cars. While we say that, there goes Jake Dennis through on Luke Browning for P7. That move was coming all along, and so he has got through on his compatriot. There is another Brit in the field, Callum Isler in 3rd place behind the Japanese of Ritomo Miata, if I can get my words out. Now Carlin have come into this round 24 points clear over 2nd place Andretti. Carlin are 82 points clear over 4th place Ram, which means mathematically they could seal promotion within the next couple of races if results go for them. I'd say that Miata's gone in too deep there into the right-hander, deep into the lap there. I think that's turn 11. It's where Miata made the mistake there, completely missing the apex, and that has given Eilert a little bit of encouragement to close in. Might pull into the slipstream, will Eilert? Will he do it into the last corner? He won't do, but he might go for it into turn 1. And Callum Eilert behind Ritomo Miata going up the inside now is the Carlin. He's having to tuck back in again thanks to the Dome's superior horsepower, but it's still not enough for Miata to withhold Eilert's persistence, and so Eilert has found his way through and up into 2nd position. Miata down to 3rd place, and that lock up into turn 11 did cost the Dome driver, and now he's going to have to work hard to get it back. We're on lap 4 of the race already. One driver who's had a brilliant race so far is Jess Hawkins, who, looking at the grid, she had started a brilliant 13th, has found a way up into 6th position in the Surtees. She must have made an absolutely magnificent start. There we see Nick Cassidy going over the line to complete another lap. He holds the fastest up of the race so far. Ritomo Miata will keep hold of the fastest lap point, whatever happens. There goes Ritomo Miata through on Max Gunter for 9th place. goes the Carlin ahead of the Real. And out of the race goes Kimi Antonelli in the Coloni. It was a decent showing from him in Anderstorp last time out, but it's the end of the road on lap number 5. Kimi Antonelli's race goes no further. And we see O'Ward, who is just ahead of the Tolman of Paul Aron. O'Ward has had a season to forget so far. And Dams have not had the best time of it either. I'll be hoping for better luck next season to put on a push for promotion. Now we're looking at Ilott and Miata in the fight for P2. Freeze has dropped back since he was behind his teammate Jake Dennis. Has now got Max Gunter in front of him in the fight for P10. And there's Nick Cassidy in the lead, nearly 4 seconds clear over Ilott. Top 3 teams in League 2 will go up to League 1 for Season 5. The bottom 3 teams in League 1 will head down the other way. At the moment, it's Carlin, Andretti and Prima in the top 3. Ram are just outside the top 3 in 4th position, but they have only picked up 1 point in the last... Well, I say 1 point. They've only picked up 7 points in the last 5 races. But 6 of those have come from a race finish. That was in Istanbul. It was a promising start for Ram at the beginning of the season, but they have fallen away since. You see a move from what looks like Colton Herter on Victor Martin for 14th position. And there is Jess Hawkins, who's in the apex. He's able to keep going. Did she get a tap from behind from Jake Dennis? I don't think she did get a tap. I think Dennis was too far back. We'll have a look now. Dennis does go up the inside now. I think it was Hawkins who just locked up. Now she's got the mirrors full of the Andretti. It's been a good season for Jess. She didn't finish in the last race, but she's had a good run of form coming into that. 15th in the championship for the Brit. Who has done a demo run in an AMR 21 at the Hungaroring last year. There we see Cassidy gradually bridging out the gap to Ilott. 4.7 seconds is the gap. Now we see Sarah Moore going through on Paul Aron for 18th. There is Ilott and there is Miata. De Vries locking up in front of Gunter. Get a replay to see what happened there. There's no contact made on De Vries. No, it was similar to what Jess Hawkins did on the previous lap. Won't be too far away from pit stops. Alexander Rossi further back, who's got that penalty hanging over him for nudging off Jack Doohan at this corner on the first lap. Rounds to go in the season. Zhuhai today. It's on top list in Japan after that. Sipoon in South Korea. Followed by Sepang in Malaysia for the penultimate round. And it's Phillip Island in Australia for the 16th and final championship round of the season. We've got the non-championship Macau round. And as I say that, there's been an overtake for Miyata. Up the inside goes the Japanese, and he's through on Kalamailot. That was a super overtake from Ritomu Miyata to find his way through, and that move was coming along. Brilliant overtake from Ritomu Miyata. And there's an engine problem for Nick Cassidy up ahead. Not all good news for the Dome team, but you could have predicted it anyway. Nick Cassidy out of the race on lap number 9. And will that spell the end of their chances for promotion this season? They needed to get both cars to the checker flag today. And this was the setback that team manager David Young would have been dreading. And it's been nudged off the circuit by Louis Foster by the looks of it. Now, will the stewards look at that? Now, you could say Cassidy should have got off sooner. There goes Louis Foster. Oh, he just nudged him off. Oh, dearie, dearie me. I mean, conveniently for Foster, he was able to get to the pit lane because he had front wing damage. Oh, could he have avoided him? I'm not 100% sure. Let's see what race controls say on that, because it might go down as a racing incident. Cassidy is out of the race with an engine failure. What will the punishment be for Louis Foster if there is going to be one? And no further action is going to be taken, and I thought that would be the case. Foster coming into the pits for repairs, and that's the setback that Prema didn't need. And team manager Alex Johnson will not be impressed with that one bit. Miyata into the lead then, Ilott now second. And we are seeing Alex Palou locking up ahead of Colton Herter. Not sure what happened there for Alex Palou, who was up the inside of one of the sack speeds. Yeah, he just got it wrong there. Miyata into the lead, Ilott second, and it's Njui in third place, and Jess Hawkins up to fourth in the Surtees. And it's Jake Dennis in fifth. Ria Huikawa 6th, Luke Browning, Nick de Vries, Max Gunter, and Stoffel van Dorn inside the points. Max Gunter running in 9th position for Real, who haven't picked up a point in the last 5 races. So looking good for Carlin right now, as it is for Andretti. Dennis now 5th, De Vries in 8th. And he's stuck behind Luke Browning in their own battle. Dennis under threat from Rio Hirakawa, who sent one at the inside there. And I was very lucky that he didn't take either of them off. Kalamailot running in second place behind Ritomu Miyata on lap 11. And there we see O'Ward running in 15th position, ahead of Sarah Moore. He'll do well to keep hold of the position here, but Moore is going to go for it on the inside into the last turn, but O'Ward is able to resist for the time being. There is Najiri in third place behind Callum Ilott on lap number 12. Got in for another strong result. No points last time out for Prix. Just their first double retirement in their Grand Prix Series history. But they're looking good for a place in League One next season with the way things are going right now with those Jess Hawkins. Got in for her best result so far in fourth. Third place. Ahead of Hawkins, the gap between the pair is 2.7 seconds. Now after coming into the pits, Louis Foster is down at the back. He'll be ahead of Abby Pullin. Maybe in 23rd place, I would imagine. Ilott in second, dropping back from Rotoma Miata, who's looking for his first Grand Prix World Series win after so many missed opportunities this season. The opportunity to win in Buenos Aires. The opportunity to win in Indianapolis, which had gone begging for him. And the run of non-finishes he had 5 in a row, which was ended with his podium position in Pano, which he should have been coming away with the race win from. And it was another non-finish last time out in Anderstorp. From 11 races, Rotoma Miata has failed to finish in 7 of them. On lap 14, and Ilott is in second place. Thinking about the championship at the moment. He knows that Rotoma Miata is not in the fight for that. Tom Cairns is. Hawkins is closing in on Najiri in 4th place. I wonder if Hawkins is going to be doing the 2-stop in this one, and I'd be intrigued to know how much time is needed for a pit stop around Zhuhai. Zhuhai, which was first opened in 1996. He's host of the Asia Road Racing Championship. He also hosted the Asian Le Mans Series, the FIM EWC, TCR Asia, Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Continental Le Mans Cup, 6 Hours of Zhuhai, FIA GT, BPR Global GT Series, and A1 GP World Cup of Motorsport. It was tipped to be joining the Formula 1 calendar in 1999, which had unfortunately fell through. I think with the fact that the Chinese Grand Prix right now being in Shanghai, it'll be very, very tough for them to have any form of chance. Taking over as the host for the event. Right on board with Ryo Hirakawa. He's ahead of Luke Browning and behind Jake Dennis. 2 retirements so far. Nick Cassidy and Kimi Antonelli. 24 still going. Made that 23 because Abby Pullen has pulled out of the race. She was at the back of the field anyway, but a loose wheel has forced her to retire. Jess Hawkins has come into the pits for Surtees. She's the first to make a scheduled stop at the end of lap 16. And Jake Dennis is off. He's out as well. A problem for Jake Dennis in the Andretti. He was nudged off the circuit as well by someone. I think it might have been Max Gunter for that matter. Or was it Nick de Vries? It might have been de Vries, you know. It was Nick de Vries who ran into him. It's a double disaster for Andretti. So Dennis is out and de Vries is into the pits. This is playing into the hands of Carlin and Pramac. No further action is going to be taken on that incident. So we've got 4 drivers out of the race now. And Jess Hawkins nearly coming out into the path of Jack Doohan. I don't think it'll be too long before Hawkins gets back through on the ramp. There we see Najiri in 3rd position. And there we see Paul Aron locking up. Running in 14th. Tom have had little to celebrate this season, just 5 points on the board. They're hoping for better luck next season with Michael Gillespie at the helm. So far this season, it's been one to forget. 17 laps in, we're nearly a third of the way through. Miata continuing to take command ahead of Callum Ilott. Toby Sowry is coming into the pits for Coloni, as does Sarah Moore. There's Najiri, still in 3rd position. He'll be wary that Jess Hawkins came into the pits a couple of laps ago. Behind Najiri is Ryo Hirakawa, and it's Luke Browning in the 40 in 5th. It's Max Gunter in 6th for Riel. Stoffel van Dorn for Sax Speed in 7th. Alex Blair in the Ram in 8th. Victor Martin 9th, and Pato Award in 10th place. We see Nick de Vries locking up. Down in 18th position since he had to come in for repairs. Ryo Hirakawa coming in. Will he have done enough to leapfrog Jess Hawkins? There we see the 3 drivers at the back there. Sowry, O'Sullivan and Moore. It's a busy pit lane right now because we've got Polo, we've got Martin, Caroli as well coming into the pits. So we've got plenty of two-stoppers, but there'll be some trying for the one-stop as well. Dennis Hauger came into the pits for Tolman. He's come out in front of Matteo Caroli, who was in the pits at the same time as the Norwegian. Sacco Sullivan in 19th behind Toby Sorry, who's got that 10-second time penalty for the collision with Sarah Moore on the first lap. Callum Aylott pits from P2. Not long after his teammate came in, Tommy Kinijiri also heading for pit road. Miata continuing to stay out. And that allows Luke Browning, Max Gunther and Stoffel van Dorn to move up, as does Alexander Rossi. Jet doing under attack from Jess Hawkins. Still not able to get through, which is hurting her race. And Hirakawa did get in front of Hawkins in the pit stop, so that's hurt Hawkins there. She won't be very, very happy with that being the case. And it's an engine problem for Nick Cassidy! Or Ritoru Miata, I should say. Ritoru Miata into the pits with an engine problem. And unbelievably, he's able to stay in the race. He was due into the pits anyway. And he should remain in the net race lead. Miata, with the engine problem, comes in. And he's able to stay in this. Unbelievable. Refuel the car. And he's out on his way. And he's able to keep hold of the lead. Ahead of Alexander Rossi. Lucky escape there for Doe. Something has gone their way. Van Dorn running in P11 after coming in. Now with Alexander Rossi in second place, I would imagine he will be going for the one stop. He's got over a couple of seconds in hand over Aylott, so he doesn't need to be battling with him. You see Van Dorn behind the other Real of Max Gunther. What will team manager David Yuntz of the Dome team be thinking right now? And Rossi does come in. I would say he's going to remain on the two-stop strategy. He's the American. Which is a bit of a shame because we would have liked to have seen someone try and do the one-stop. Miata locks up into turn number 7. Gets away with it. Here's Aylott. Not rushing things by any stretch. He knows how important it is. He's finished in the top 4 in 6 of the last 7 races. At the beginning of the campaign, he only had 5 points in the first 4. After a really disappointing Season 3 is racing for LaRousse. He's come out stronger this time around, and we see Nick de Vries going through on Louis Foster for P6. There's a nice overtake there, and Foster, who you remember had to come in prematurely for a new front wing after colliding with Nick Cassidy. So far so good for Ritomo Miyata, despite the mechanical gremlins he had earlier on. Sarah Moore in 17th position. Ritomo Miyata has posted a new fast stop of the race, which means that Nick Cassidy will not come away with anything from this League 2 Zhuhai Grand Prix. Given we're coming towards the end of Season 4, it's a good time to run down on Season 5 in regards to the calendar. We start in the Caribbean for the first race, and it's off to Brazil at Campo Grande. And it's La Plata in Argentina, followed by Indianapolis for round 4. Grand Prix Series will be returning to Britain, this time at Rockingham for the 5th race. And it's off to France at Dijon-Bourgogne, Jerez in Spain, Mugello in Italy. It's the Hockenheim Grand Prix for round 9, which will also be the venue for the mid-season test, which will see the reserve and test drivers of each of the teams to get a run. It's off to Poland in Poznan, Brno in the Czech Republic, and a problem for Jess Hawkins in these 30s. I knew somebody was going to interrupt me running down the calendar, and it's a terrible shame for Jess Hawkins, who is having the race of her season so far, and for it to come to an end. That's really, really disappointing for team manager Jake Sanson. The Brit is out of the race. It's 2 races in a row that she's failed to finish. And we see Stoff Van Dorn battling it out with Alex Palou for 9th position now. Hawkins' retirement has helped those respective drivers in the points. Going back to the calendar, after Poznan we go to Brno in the Czech Republic, which has hosted the Grand Prix Series before. And Max Gunter going through on Louis Foster, who's beginning to struggle now. I'd imagine he'll be in the pits in the near future. After Brno we go to Pärnu in Estonia. It was going to be in Karjala in Finland before that got replaced. After Pärnu we go to Marrakesh in Morocco, Kyalami in South Africa, in Delhi for round 15 in India. It's off to Fuji in Japan, Sepang in Malaysia, and the 18th and final round will be in Adelaide, Australia. And it'll be the most number of rounds in a season in the Grand Prix Series. We've also got the non-championship Macau Grand Prix, which will involve the top 13 highest scoring teams across the 2 leagues. And we see Rossi behind Sarah Moore, Paul Aron, Dennis Hauger, Matteo Caroli and Jet doing all the rest of those still running. We've got 5 out. We've got Jess Hawkins out. We've got Jake Dennis out. Abby Pullen is out. Nick Cassidy is out. And Kimi Antonelli is also not running. We might have a 6th in a moment because Corelli just pulled off an overtake on Dennis Hauger, who looked like he was struggling there. Now we are looking at Alex Palou behind Louis Foster for 8th place. Goes for it at the inside, and that's another position lost for the Pramac. It's not been a good race so far for Louis Foster. And further back, we are also looking at the dams. We just saw a lock-up ahead there. That might have been from Max Gunter in the Riel, who is tucked up behind Luke Browning in the fight for 6th position. And Dennis Hauger is out of the race in the Tolman. Tolman have been good at getting to the end of races, thinking of it. But Hauger is out of this one. In fact, that's the first retirement that Tolman have picked up. When I say the first retirement, as in a non-classified finish, since race 4 in Zolder. That's rather impressive, actually, for team manager Michael Gillespie. And Alexander Ross has gone through on Sarah Moore for 16th. Gets the move done cleanly this time. At the halfway point in the race now. Miata leading ahead of Ilott by over 10 seconds. As we've seen time and time again this season, Dome's mechanical gremlins have been the thorn in their side. And is someone just had a problem there in the background, or am I just looking at things or thinking of things? I might just be thinking of things. But Miata is continuing on, doing everything right, not pushing too hard. He has yet to win in the Grand Prix Series. We've had so many different race winners this season. So far we have had Sebastian Buemi, Nick De Vries, Scott Dixon, Alex Palou, Joseph Newgarden, Luke Browning, Matt Viragunathan, Jake Dennis, Felix Rosenquist, Callum Ilott, Matt Campbell, Earl Bamber, Tomoki Najiri, Antonio Giovinazzi, Ryo Hirakawa, Sean-Eric Verne, Nick Cassidy and Scott McLaughlin. We have had 18 different race winners from the 22 races so far in Season 4 in the Grand Prix Series. So Miata is 24 laps away from his first Grand Prix Series win. It'll still give them some form of chance in the race for promotion, but time is running out. They're running out of chances to make it work. With the way things are going in this one, they'll leapfrog ahead of Ram into 4th position. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Ilott will be extending his lead by a further 3 points over Tomoki Najiri. Ryo Hirakawa will move up to 3rd place ahead of Nick De Vries. Now it's below Jake Dennis, and all those further down are pretty much out of the race in the running for the title. It's most realistically going to be between the top 4 of Ilott, Najiri, De Vries and Hirakawa. No one Everyone is trying the one stop. Looks like the whole field is going to be doing the 2. There is the League 1 race to come after this, so do not go anywhere. How will they get on compared to the League 2 grid? And it's an engine problem for Toby Surrey, and it's on fire. And that sums up the day for Lewis Bassendale's team. Neither of their cars are going to be making it to the checker flag. And you can see Sarah Moore running into the Coloni, who's trying to get back on the circuit, but was the incident avoidable? That's the only thing. The Real got through. Oh, actually, I think it's 50-50 on that one. So I would say no further action is going to be taken. Sori's trying to get back on the circuit, but the engine has died. So Marshall pulls the car away, and Sori goes no further. And it's both of the Colonis out of the League 2 Zhuhai Grand Prix. Now, Sarah Moore should not pick up something, and she won't pick up anything for that. No further action is going to be taken. The gap between Miata and Ilott is over 12 seconds. The gap between Ilott and Nijiri is 4.4. A few further seconds back is Ryo Hirakawa. And there we see Hirakawa going for a spin and off the circuit. The front wing is broken. Did he pick up a puncture? Oh, he just lost it. When it was all looking good for Carlin, it looks like a puncture that's caused Hirakawa to go off the track. And now he's going to have to wait for the field to get by to get back on again. Could that come back to haunt Hirakawa later? Well, the whole field has gone through. Does Hirakawa get back on safely? Just needs to be very careful he doesn't cause any further damage to the car. Now he is reversing back onto the circuit. He's probably going to have to let Ritomo Miata through. Yeah, he's down a lap now. Is Ritomo Miata. He's got to be careful because Callum Ilott will be coming through as well. And that spells any hope of Hirakawa picking up anything from this race. Laps to go. Miata still leads. This is not going to be a good sight for team manager Perry Brown of Carlin. See Hirakawa make a mistake like that. Nijiri in P3. The Japanese having a brilliant season so far. We'll see Carlin of Miata. That's Islet, sorry. He's coming through turn number 11 through 12. Won't be too long before they go over the line. And Ilot comes in for his final stop from second place. Ilot was about 13 seconds off the lead of Miata when he came in. He's come out now ahead of Victor Martin in 8th position. You see Louis Foster coming into the pits, as is Colton Herter. Dave Browning locking up ahead of Max Janssen. Paul Aron in the pits for Tolman. Ilot is probably looking at around about 26-27 seconds for a pit stop around this circuit. Nick de Vries in P3, the only Andretti left in the race. Jake Dennis already out. With the way things are going, so it's going to end up being one Prima, one Andretti, and one Carlin picking up points today. Which will give Dome a little bit of hope, but not a lot of hope. O'Ward coming into the pits for Dams. He was inside the top 10 before he ducked in. Also heading in is Sarah Moore in the Surtees. Matteo Corelli also heading in for LaRousse. Now we are looking at a pit stop for Ritomo Miata for Dome for his final stop. No mechanical gremlins this time, although we are seeing the two Dams cars making contact. That is Pato Ward coming out into the path of Colton Herter. That was just clumsy from Herter, but it didn't gain a position from the collision, so don't expect any action to be taken, although that could have been a lot worse. The team manager of Dams is Phil Kinch. Summing up their season, they are 9th in the standings, and no further action is going to be taken between the two drivers. Just 2 points scored in the last 3 races for Phil Kinch's team. That 9th place coming last time out in Anderstorp. Najiri coming in for Prima not long after Ilot was in. Now Ilot is, well, he's just gone through on Stoff Van Don, who's gone into the pits. Najiri's behind Ilot again. Van Don, O'Sullivan and Rossi are all in the pits. Miata ahead of de Vries, who has yet to make his final stop. So Miata could maybe try and go for another fastest lap if he's feeling it. There we see Jack Doohan, who's now in 9th position. After a disappointing start to the race, we thought it was going to be quite a lonely one for him, but he's somehow able to recover. I wonder if he's still got another stop to do though. Behind Doohan is Stoff Van Dorn, who's looking good for another points finish. There's a pit stop at Andretti. Nick de Vries is in. So is Luke Browning and Mats Gunter, which allows Callum Ilott and Tomoki Najiri to go back up into Second and third places, Victor Martin is also in. And this is Alex Palou. Might cause a bit of a traffic jam in the pits. DeVries comes out in 4th position. You can say that Matt Gunter has got in place in front of Luke Browning now. I wonder if there was a bit of a... Some drivers having to hold back to allow others to come through the pit lane. Just giving others an advantage in completing an undercut. So Gunter is in front of Browning now. Gunter is behind Doohan, 4th position. There he is, look. Riel's best result this season has been a 6th place finish with Mike Conway in Hikawa Pagua. Came into this round on a run of 5 races without a point. Now a good haul of points would take them further clear of LaRousse and Tolman, but not quite close enough to Surtees, who have got more than triple the number of points over Riel. We're looking at Ritomo Miata. Pole position, fastest lap. And will it be the race win later? Jack Doohan comes in for Ram. He'll be hoping he'll get to the end. His chances of points are very much slim now. See Van Dorn, who's behind the Ram of Alex Palou. So the race order is this. Ritomo Miata leads by 17 seconds over Callum Ilott. Tommy Kinijiri third, a further 6.5 seconds back. It's Nick DeVries in 4th place. Despite the collision he had with his teammate Jake Dennis, which forced him to come in, he's still managed to get himself back up there in 4th place. Max Gunter is 5th, Luke Browning 6th, Alex Palou 7th, Stoff Van Don 8th, Louis Foster 9th, and it's Victor Martin in the last points paying position in 10th for Zach Speed, who are on course to get both cars to the end, and Martin is on course for a point and in his 2nd Grand Prix World Series race. There we see Najiri behind Ilott. Ryo Hirakawa is still going. He's ahead of Ilott on the road, but he is a lap down. And there's no chance of him scoring points today, unfortunately. Nick DeVries goes off the circuit in the goal trap, and his race is over. He did exactly the same thing to what Ryo Hirakawa did. But this time, the car is terminally wrecked, and Andretti are not going to be scoring points today. Disaster for team manager Linus O'Hal. After a double point score last time out in Anderstorp with a 3rd and a 4th, it's Nurport here in Zhuhai. Miata is still going in the lead. But unfortunately not so for Luke Browning. Engine fired whilst running in 5th place. A very sorry sight for team manager Dave Goddard. And all of this is helping those further down the field to get up the order. Max Gunter up to 4th place now for Riel, which will be by far the team's best result in the Grand Prix Series, and Louis Foster held up there by Luke Browning. That's going to really displease the team manager of Prima, Alex Johnston. I may have a word or two with Dave Goddard afterwards. That is Browning out of the race after a fine drive. He deserved a whole lot more. So Miata is 12 laps away from the finish. His first Grand Prix Series win. Dome's second win this season, their third overall. And with Andretti out of the race, that's going to give them some hope. It's also given some hope for Ram as well, because Alex Palou is up in 5th place, which will be his best race for a while. They won't close in on Prima, but they'll close in on Andretti. Now Andretti came into this round 26 points clear over 3rd place Prima, with Nigeri in 3rd place and Foster in 7th. It would not be enough for Prima to leapfrog Andretti in the team's championship. Crossing over the line. On his 43rd lap now. Kalamilot, who's had a very consistent season. Of course, to extend his championship lead with Hirakawa not scoring. And neither is Nick de Vries. Those 2 moments could well rule him out of the championship race. Bar any miracles in the remaining 4 rounds of this season. Now we see Ritomu Miata. And Alex Palou, providing he gets to the checkered flag, will leapfrog de Vries and Hirakawa into 3rd place. Stoffel van Don, who's running in 6th position, will move up the table in the Drivers' Championship a couple of positions, in fact, providing he stays in 6th place or higher. Nigeri in 3rd place. Of course, for another podium position, which will be the 5th of his career. He would lose ground to Ilott. The gap was 18 points coming into this round, 21 after this. Now for Callum Ilott, he is looking strong to see Carlin extend their margin over Andretti in the team's championship. It was 24 points, the margin coming into this round. Violet getting the 18 points. Hirakawa not scoring though. The gap will be 42 after this. Carlin will extend their margin over Ram. Dome will close in a little bit though, albeit not by much. The way things are going, Ram will in fact remain in front of Dome. So even with Miata in the lead, got the pole position and fast lap points, they'll be 1 point behind Ram in the battle for 4th place in the team's championship, but it's promotion that both teams will want to get. It's been an interesting race, this one. A few mistakes. But it hasn't been a farce by any means. You see Miata continuing to pull out the margin over Callum Ilott. He's just begging for the checkered flag to come out now. celebrate a race win at last. A much needed boost. There we see Kalamilot running in P2. And Ryo Hirakawa is pushing as hard as he can to try and catch up to Jack Doohan. And Jack Doohan, as far as I know, is still on the lead lap. He was in the battle with Matteo Caroli for 15th. And you can see Miata, who is coming up to bat Marcus now. Hoping not to deal with those, but he'll have to find his way through. Now remember, Alexander Rossi does have that 10-second time penalty, as it stands or drops to 14th. But if he can remain on the lead lap, and the likes of Sarah Moore, Paul Aron, Matteo Caroli and co go a lap down, he'll be able to keep hold of his 12th place. He's coming up to lap Jack Doohan now, who's had another race to forget after the contact he had with Alexander Rossi on the first lap, which had set him back. Tommy Kinejiri looking good for Prima, staying in the running for the Drivers' Championship. And there we see Miata, who is almost like trying to be unlapped by Jack Doohan, which is strange. Now Doohan gets back through. Has Miata encountered any problems, or is it just the fact that Doohan got back through on him on the straight thanks to the slipstream? Well, Miata gets back through at last anyway. Jury, who's less than 6 seconds behind Dialog, who's attempts to finish where he is. Now we've got Sarah Moore behind Zach O'Sullivan for position. She's going to go through on O'Sullivan, who's picked up a problem, unfortunately. That was too easy of an overtake, and O'Sullivan will be into the pits at the end of the lap. A miserable day for 40. It was looking good for Luke Browning. Nothing really has gone right for 40 since he had won their first Grand Prix World Series race at Indianapolis. They'd hoped for a return to League One, but it's not going to happen this season. O'Sullivan into the pits to get the problem sorted out, and he'll go a lap down. Let's see, Kalamilot. Sullivan coming out of the pits there. He is behind Ryo Hirakawa, who gains a position. But O'Sullivan will be on much better tyres. We've got 5 laps to go now here in Zhuhai. Gunter, who's in 4th place, under 3 seconds clear over Alex Palou. Looking good for his best result since Dijon Burgoyne. And O'Sullivan goes off the circuit on his first lap out of the pits. I don't know how he's managed to do that. Huge lock up there into the gravel trap, and very lucky not to damage the car at all. Now Najiri goes through. O'Sullivan gets back on the track. We just want this race to be over. see Ritomo Miyata, who's just lapped Matteo Caroli. He's now got Paul Aron ahead. Jiri in P3. Well clear of Max Gunter. We've got the two Dams in 9th and 10th right now. O'Ward ahead of Herta. Victor Martin, who's had a relatively quiet race, is in 8th position and looking good for his first Grand Prix World Series points. But he could well be getting more than what he's bargained for here. And there is Miyata, who's behind Aron. He'll be putting a lap on in a moment. In 3rd place, of course, for another podium position. There's Aron holding up Miyata now. Miyata will just want to get through on the Tolman. He's not doing him any favours. Miyata goes through. Ilott, who's got Hirakawa ahead of him, who's trying to go after Jack Doohan. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get anywhere near him, unfortunately. And here we see Tomika Nijiri, who's got Sakura Sullivan behind, who is a lap down. Two laps remaining for Ritomo Miyata. On course for his maiden Grand Prix World Series win. We'll move him up the order in the standings, I'd have thought, as well. He'll go in front of Stoffel Van Dorn, Nick Cassidy and Kimi Antonelli into 7th position in the Drivers' Championship. Drive it's been for Miyata since Cassidy had pulled out, taken the lead and ran with it, just as Cassidy did in Parnu a couple of rounds ago. Ritomo Miyata has now started the final lap of the race. What a drive it has been by the Japanese. There he is. Not made too many mistakes. And this is a well-deserved win for Miyata, it has to be said. A phenomenal drive. After so many misses this season, his time was going to come at some point. It was a matter of where and when. And providing there are no more mistakes in the remaining couple of kilometres, it would be a day to remember for Ritomo Miyata and for the Dome team. It will be their second win in the last 3 races and keeping them in the hunt for a place in League One next season. Ritomo Miyata has just got the right-hander to get through now. And the checker flag will be waiting for him. Ritomo Miyata wins the League 2 Zhuhai Grand Prix. It's a 19th different race winner in the Grand Prix World Series this season. Ritomo Miyata is the name. Callum Ilott nearly 24 seconds behind. It's going to bring home another podium position. No points for his teammate Ryo Hirakawa though, unfortunately. But it's another podium for Callum Ilott, who extends his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship ahead of Tomoki Najiri. And then we go a long way back to Max Gunter. Apart from Rito Miyata, he has been the driver of the day, arguably. What a result for Real. It's their best result in their entire Grand Prix World Series history. Max Gunter, 4th for Real, a much needed result for them. They now doubled their points tally for this season. Alex Palou, 5th, ahead of Stoffel van Dorn. Louis Foster, 7th. Victor Martin gets his first Grand Prix World Series points in 8th. Patrick Ward 9th, and Colton Hertz round up the point scorers. Alexander Rossi's time penalty will drop him back behind Sarah Moore. Race victory number 1 for Rito Miyata. It's the second win of the season for Dome here in Zhuhai. Callum Ilott 2nd, Tomoki Najiri in 3rd place running out the podium. Max Gunter with his best results so far in 4th for Real. Alex Palou in 5th, Stoffel van Dorn in 6th for Zach Speed ahead of Louis Foster. Victor Martin, first points in the Grand Prix Series for him in 8th, with the 2 dams of Patrick Ward and Colton Hertzer rounding out the top 10. Sarah Moore promoted to 11th at the expense of Alexander Rossi, who drops to 12th after his collision with Jack Doohan on the first lap. Paul Aron a lap down in 13th, as was Matteo Caroli. Jack Doohan. Ryo Hirakawa 16th after having to pit in for a new front wing after an off. Zach O'Sullivan was the last of the finishers. Luke Browning out, as was Nick DeFries and Toby Surrey. Dennis Hauger, Jess Hawkins, Jake Dennis, Abby Pullen, Nick Cassidy and Kimi Antonelli did not finish. 9 drivers retired from the race. The pole position and fast lap points went to Ritomo Miyata. Maximum points for him. He moves up the order in the championship up to 7th. He's out of the title running, realistically. But today, it's his first win at last. And what a day it's been for the Dome team, who can gather a little bit of confidence now in their fight for promotion this season. With Andretti not scoring, Prima closing. It's now game on in the race for promotion. Ram getting some points as well. So you have to say with Carlin edging ever nearer to promotion and to the team's championship, between Andretti, Prima, Ram and Dome, it's game on for them. We've got one more race to come. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly. Topher, over to you.
A huge congratulations to Ritomo Miyata for finally taking his first Grand Prix World Series victory. He's been threatening it all season, and finally the job is finished and he stands on the top step of the podium. Well done to him, and also a special shout out to Maximilian Gunter and the Real team, getting the team's best results in their career so far in the Grand Prix World Series. Well done to them, and well done to Ed Hunter. That's a much needed result for the team. But what has this race done to the championship standings? Well, Callum Ilott and Tomoki Najiri both scoring heavily today. Ilott on 139 and Najiri on 118. It looks like it's starting to be between those two for the championship, but we still have more races to go. Things can change very quickly. Alex Palou up to 3rd on 94 ahead of Nick DeFries on 90. Ryo Hirakawa 5th on 89 ahead of Jake Dennis on 78. Miyata's victory brings him up to 7th in the standings on 73 ahead of Stoffel van Dorn, Kimi Antonelli and Nick Cassidy retiring out of the lead once again. He is 10th in the championship on 64 points. And as far as the team standings are concerned, Carlin's still at the head of the field on 228 and they are the red-hot favourites to win this championship now. Andretti 2nd on 186 ahead of Prema on 181, and it looks like it will be those 3 teams going up as Ram Racing slips further away. Never say never in his championship though. Ram is on 138, 1 ahead of Diamond on 37, getting themselves up into the top 5 now. Zach Speed 6th on 96 ahead of Cologne on 79, 40 Corti on 63, Downs on 53 and 30s on 40. Well, Real brings their season total up to 24 with today's 4th place finish, ahead of LaRousse on 6 and Tolman on 5. Well, that is League 2 done and dusted for another race. Let's head on over to League 1 and remind ourselves of what the championship standings are into today. And Sebastian Buemi and Felix Rosenquist tied on points at the top of 111 points each. Buemi ahead on countback, while Jean-Eric Vergne giving Prost a really good season so far as he is third in the championship on 89. Scott McLaughlin on 86 ahead of Joseph Newgarden on 83. Earl Bamber on 79 puts both Leighton houses into the top 6. Kamui Kobayashi, not a race winner this season, but consistent point scoring has put him 7th in the standings, ahead of Mahavira Raghunathan, Raffaele Marcello, and reigning champion Scott Dixon, who is looking more and more unlikely to retain his championship this season. As far as the team standings are concerned, Prost leads the way on 200 points, and it looks like they're getting close to uncatchable this season, as they lie 38 points ahead of Leighton House. It's not impossible by any means, but the more races that go on with the results that they are capable of, the more chance there is of Prost taking the title this season. Arrow sits third on 139 ahead of HRT on 124. HRT looking to threaten Arrow's top 3 standings at the moment. Simtek fifth on 92 ahead of Force India on 84. Minardi and BAR share 81 points each ahead of Manor on 45, Onyx on 42, and in the relegation zone as it stands, Fomitel on 33, Mastercard Lola on 28, and Pacific Grand Prix on 21. A lot can still change in the next few races, so the battle for the championship and the battle to fight off relegation. There's plenty of action to follow for the remaining few races. We have 2 driver changes to bring you for today's race. The first of those coming at the Force India team. Antonio Felix da Costa picked up his 2nd disqualification of the season last time out in Anderstorp, having taken out Kyle Kirkwood in what was quite a violent accident actually. And as a result, da Costa sits out today's race, and Jack Aitken will come into the car once again in the Force India. He will hope to make as good an impression as he can with Season 5 looming and the driver market looking to get underway at season's end. And the second and final driver change comes at the Von Mittal team. Pascal Wehrlein picked up a back of the grid penalty last time out in Anderstorp, and as a result, Ewan Gale has hoped to alleviate that back of the grid penalty by bringing Marcus Ericsson into the car instead. Not wanting to start to the back of the grid, he wants to start as far up the field as possible to maximise his chances of getting points and fighting off relegation. So without further ado, let's head down to the grid and see who will start where for today's Zhuhai Grand Prix. And it is Earl Bamber on pole position, less than a tenth of a second ahead of Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi, very close at the front of the field between the top 3. Scott Dixon will start 4th ahead of Sebastian Buemi, our championship leader, and Jean-Eric Vergne puts both Prosts onto the 3rd row. Felix Rosenqvist, championship contender, 7th on the grid ahead of Kevin Estre, a good result there for the Onyx team, and then Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin starting 9th and 10th. 11th will be Christopher Bell ahead of Mahavir Raghunathan. Lawrence Vantor 13th ahead of Carl Kirkwood, not matching the pace of his teammate Rosenqvist so far this season. Raffaele Marcello 15th ahead of Jack Aitken. Kamui Kobayashi 17th ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen and Felipe Nasr. And Roman Grosjean in 20th, returning from his 2-race ban and taking up the 20th grid position here today. And at the back of the field, Brendan Hartley, Daniel Kvyat, Pietro Fittipaldi, Oliver Behrman, Mitch Evans, and Marcus Ericsson brought in to alleviate that back of the grid penalty, qualifying last. And I'm sure Ewan Gale will not be at all happy with that qualifying performance. But the only way is forward for the Swede, and we will follow his progress throughout the field to see how far up the order he can get. Well, there we are. There is your grid for today's League 1 Zhuhai Grand Prix. We can't wait to get this one underway. If League 2 is anything to go by, we are set for another thriller here in China. Let's get down to trackside where Tom Cairns is ready and waiting to call the action.
It's time for League 1 in Zhuhai. Buemi and Rosenqvist go into this level on points, but who will be in the lead by the end of today's run-in? The 5 red lights are coming on now. For one last time today, lights are on, lights off, and it's go in Zhuhai. It's a good start for Bamber, but Latifi's alongside him. Watch out for Sebastian Buemi in the pass, and Scott Dixon who sends one up the inside, and what a move from Scott Dixon in the Minardi to snatch the lead from Nicholas Latifi and Earl Bamber. What a start! Dixon in the lead then, ahead of Latifi, who's got in front of Bamber. And it's Buemi, Giovinazzi, Vergne, Raghunathan, Rosenqvist, Estre, and Vantor. A collision at the back though. That looks like the 2 HRTs and the Mastercard Lola, who have come together, and it's race over for Christopher Bell. Now, behind the pair, it was Romain Grosjean, who is back after a 2-race ban. He was the one that caused that. He ran into Bell. They sent Bell into McLaughlin. And unfortunately for Bell, the right rear has come off. McLaughlin is going to fall to the back. And I imagine Grosjean is going to be hit with another race ban and disqualification from this race. And yeah, that was totally avoidable from Grosjean. And there's no question he is at fault for it. So Bell, after 3 races in the points, is out for the first time in his Grand Prix World Series career. And McLaughlin, well, after winning last time out in understop, he's going to find it very hard to salvage anything from this race. Team manager John Munro of HRT is going to be absolutely livid. No question about that. And it is a 1-race ban for Romain Grosjean for confirmation. So Dixon over the line to complete lap number 1. And it's Latifi, Bamber, Buemi, Giovinazzi, Verne and Rigonathan, who are still up there. Newgarden down to P11 after a tough start to the race. And we've also got Pietro Fittipaldi in the pits for Pacific. He has been in the wars somewhere around the opening lap. It's not the start to the race that team manager Kevin McMullen would have had in mind. They've been finding it hard to score points at the moment, or Pacific, who are destined for a return to League 2 next season. So far, so good for Scott Dixon, but can he pick up his second win of the campaign by the end of this? 6 drivers came into this round with a realistic chance of the championship. Bamber is at the bottom of that. On 79 points after his podium last time out in understop. Bamber 32 points off the top coming into this round. Could do with a good haul of points. Maybe even a win. Buemi up there in 4th place. Rosenquist is in 8th. So Grosjean, who's only just been back after serving a 2-race ban, well, he'll be sitting out the next race in Autopolis in a couple of weeks' time. It'll be Mick Schumacher who'll get another go in the car. And you see Kyle Kirkwood, who has struggled to shine since he replaced Oliver Rowland in the Arrows. Dixon pulling away from Nicholas Latifi, who's determined to keep up with him. Latifi has yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series. He's only scored points on 4 occasions, but 2 of those have been race finishes that has been fastest laps. We'll make that 5 actually, because he picked up a pole position last time out in understop. There goes Romain Grosjean on his teammate Danny Kafia for 15th position. All Grosjean can do now is just get to the end without taking out any other drivers. You see Dixon and Kafia coming back at Grosjean, but to no avail. McLaughlin is behind Evans for the 23rd place. And we see Dixon ahead of Latifi. And it's Bamber, Buemi and Giovinazzi. Prost came into this round 38 points clear over second place Leighton House. Race for the team's championship. HRT 4th place. We've hoped for a lot more than what they've had so far in this. Is inside the points, Estra and Van Sort. Dixon is ahead of Latifi. Almost for the win here. So we're going for knocking up in front of Felix Rosenquist. Lap number 5 of the race, approaching the end of lap number 5. So far so good for Minardi. We've got Dixon, Latifi, Bamber, Boemi and Giovinazzi. Dixon posting another new fastest up of the race. Just making it look so easy so far. But never say never. And there goes Kyle Kirkwood on one of the Force Indias, which will be Jack Aiken, who's substituting for the suspended Antonio Felix da Costa for this round. See Van Sort behind Estra. Behind Van Sort is Joseph Newgarden. Determined to get up the order sooner rather than later. And there are the leaders. Jonathan is doing his best to keep up with Jean-Luc Verne. Bottom 3 teams will go down at the end of the season. And now we're looking at a battle for 18th position, because it looks like Shane van Gisbergen has picked up an issue. Hence why we've seen the cars just bunching up behind him. Unless he made a mistake on the last corner or whatever. In fact, no, it's not Shane van Gisbergen, it's Ollie Berman. It's Kobayashi, sorry, who's lost his rear wing. And it's because he's been hit by the HRT of Scott McLaughlin. Now, I think that was rather accidental, but the stewards may think otherwise. But it was McLaughlin that ran into Kamui Kobayashi, who will be into the pits at the end of the lap. Yeah. Now, that may look like an avoidable one for McLaughlin. See Kobayashi letting Evans go. It's a 30-second time penalty and a back of the grid shot for the next race for Scott McLaughlin. It's not what he needed in his quest to become champion this season. And that pretty much finishes up HRT's day with that penalty. Dixon continuing on in the lead. Prost looking good with Boemi in 4th and Verne in 6th. There goes Scott McLaughlin. Looks like he's going through on Marcus Ericsson by the looks of it, who is in place of Pascal Wehrlein. He would have been taking the back of the grid drop for this round. instead the team have decided to put Ericsson in. And Scott Dixon from the race lead has picked up yet another engine failure. Unless he's able to get back to the pits, that is his race over. You can see the field going through there. Giovinazzi going through. Behind Dixon is Jean-Luc Verne now. He wants to pull out there, yet the car is on fire now. So Dixon's race is over. He will not go to the end. He's out after 8 laps of racing. And what will team manager Giacomo Pagliaro be thinking now? A superb start. All come to nothing here. And so, he stays out of the way of the drivers behind. And they'll be on the apex of the next corner here, but he's off the track now. Dixon pulls out of the race. There's no chance he'll become champion this season. All hopes are lost now. Here comes the second driver to retire from the race, along with Christopher Bell. That allows Nicholas Latifi to go into the lead. El Bamba now second and Sebastian Buemi in third. There goes Giovinazzi on Buemi for third place into turn 1. A nice overtake there by the Italian. Latifi gone in for his first Grand Prix Series win. He's leading by 3 seconds over Earl Bamber. Buemi fighting back with Giovinazzi. Behind Buemi is Jean-Luc Verne. Circulating round. Giovinazzi in third position ahead of the two Prosts, Buemi and Verne. Shane van Gisbergen is about to be overtaken by Scott McLaughlin. McLaughlin goes through, trying to make up for lost time. And Verne is behind Buemi now as the two Prosts go into battle. BAR have had reliability woes this season. They are 8th in the team's championship on 81 points. Dixon has the point for the fastest lap at the moment. That could be taken away later on. On lap 12, it's Latifi leading, as we see Ericsson go through on Shane van Gisbergen into turn 1. Nicely done Von Mattel determined to get some points to reduce the arrears in the fight to beat the drop. Mana and Onyx are above them. Von Mattel are 9 points from safety. And Vern goes for a spin in the Prost. And he's out! Vern is out of the race in the gravel trap after a mistake at turn 11. Not what Prost needed. And it's a bad dent to Shonic Vern's title chances. Game over for him. That's one Prost out. Another still going in 4th place. Sebastian Buemi, the championship leader. Not far away from pit stops now. TV thinking about when he'll be pitting in. Up to 6th place behind Ragunathan. T1Xs are in 7th and 8th. If they were to remain where they are, the T1Xs, they'll move ahead of Mana. Mana don't look like they're going to be scoring because their cars are off the pace. This time around, there is the upgrade window which will give team manager Sam Hall a chance to improve the cars thanks to their strong showing in Parnu. Couple of rounds ago. And Kobayashi locking up. And he's behind Brendan Hartley, who hasn't got a lot. There's actually Pietro Fittipaldi, my apologies, who had to come in at the end of lap 1 for repairs. And now these two are in a fight of their own. They're nearly a lap down, those two, thinking of it. Nicholas Latifi, the Canadian. Kevin Estra going through on Felix Rosenquist for position, and there's an important reason why. Rosenquist is on fire in the arrows. The man 2nd place in the championship is out of the League 1 Zhuhai Grand Prix. Not what he needed. And it's a horrible dent to Arrows' chances in the team's championship. Now the two Onyxes will go through. It's race over for Rosenquist. When it was looking good for him, he will not leave Zhuhai in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And there he goes. And McLaughlin was able to gain a position whilst he was at it. But it's game over for the Arrows team. Pretty much. Although, unless Kirkwood can actually get a strong result out of this. He's running in the points now. The Arrows have not been at the best of it in recent races. There we see Ollie Berman in the Simtech in 16th behind Scott McLaughlin. And how those two are the Mascot Lola and Von Mattel, Danica Fiat and Felipe Nasser, who are both behind Roman Grosjean, who will be excluded from the race result for taking out Christopher Bell on the opening lap. Nasser. He's going for a move on Kafia into turn 1, and it's job done for the Brazilian. Behind Kafia is Scott McLaughlin. And Fittipaldi locking up in front of Kamui Kobayashi. And Kobayashi, I can imagine, will go for a move on Fittipaldi on the straight here. We'll go into the slipstream. It's not going to be the hardest overtake in the world for the Japanese. He's through on the Pacific, who are in need of points. They need the upgrade window to improve their horsepower. And McLaughlin sending one up the inside on Kafia for 14th. We've got 2 drivers in the pits, Buemi and Ragunathan. Make that 3 because Vantor is in. And we've also got Marciello coming in for his first pit stop. Grosjean in for Marscard Lola. Buemi will rejoin behind Brendan Hartley in 14th position. He might be able to get through on the Kiwi straight away. It looks like that Hartley had to take evasive action. He ducks to the right to avoid a collision with the Swiss. There's Bamber. He's got Giovinazzi for company. Hartley for 13th. And behind me is Shane van Gisbergen. Kevin Estra has come into the pits for Onyx. And there we see the BAR. Danny Kafia has come in for Marscard Lola. A third of the way through here in Zhuhai. There's Bamber. Giovinazzi behind. And strangely enough, if Giovinazzi was to come away with the race win today, he would leapfrog Scott Dixon. And Earl Bamber's mistake has allowed Giovinazzi to get alongside here and try and go through. Bamber holds on for now, but that was a poor error from Bamber, which has seen him get away with it. Nicholas Latifi's come into the pits from the race lead for BAR. Aiken coming in for Force India, as is Joseph Newgarden, likewise for Scott McLaughlin. When will Giovinazzi decide to go for it on Bamber? It's an important race in the championship. Carl Kirkwood has stayed out there. He's running in P3 on circuit. Is he going to try and do the one stop? Behind Latifi is Felipe Nasser, who has yet to pit. Ericsson likewise. Buemi's overtaken Van Gisbergen on circuit. Giovinazzi is in from second place. Van Bamber remains out there. As saying earlier, we probably need about 27 seconds for a pit stop. Here we see Ollie Berman, who is behind the Mastercard Lola of Danny Kafia. Kirkwood comes in for arrows, so he's not going to be doing the one-stop strategy. And Sebastian Buemi has slowed down with a problem, and Prost's race is finished. On lap number 20, Sebastian Buemi pulls off the circuit for the third race in a row. And it's not going to be any points for Prost this time. It's a puncture that is the cause. Buemi, Rosenquist and Verne are all out of the race. McLaughlin has a huge time penalty which will serve at the end. It's a golden opportunity for Leightonhouse now. Bamber into the pits for his first stop. Newgarden is behind Raghunathan on circuit. Kirkwood, as Ericsson comes into the pits likewise for Van Gisbergen. Hartley coming in for Pacific. Now, a win for Newgarden or Bamber would not put them into the lead in the Drivers' Championship, but it would see them close up a lot more. See Kamui Kobayashi at the back there, who is not going to be coming away with any points today, unfortunately. Even if he does try from here, it's been a race to forget for him. Sinsek have dropped away in terms of form, and Bamber was able to remain in front of Giovinazzi in second place. But they're now 8 seconds off the leader. Kevin Estre has remained... I think he's made a pit stop already as Kevin Estre. And if he has, then Onyx have had a race to remember so far. It's been a brilliant one of that. See Latifi continuing on. Can BAR pick up their second win of the season? Maverick Raghunathan took the honours in Zolder. Latifi today will be over the moon to pick up his first. Fittipaldi comes in for his first scheduled stop at the race. Probably go down a lap by the time Latifi goes past. Bamber and Giovinazzi. Both of the Force Indias are in the points right now, with Rafael Marcillo in 8th and Jack Aiken in 10th. Roshan will be at Sue from the race result. McLaughlin has that time penalty to serve, which will help Nasser and Ericsson move up. The same for Kafia. Lawrence Van Tor. He's running in 7th place right now. Now, it'll be 18 championship points for Onyx, which will see them leapfrog Manor, going to 60, which should be enough to remain in League One next season with that amount of points. Manor will still have work to do. Right on board with old Bamba, holding off Antonio Giovinazzi. His teammate Joseph Newgarden. 6th position behind Matt Viraganatham. Giovinazzi, race winner at the Nürburgring. And Giovinazzi's engine has gone off in smoke. And it's going to be another double retirement for the team unless Giovinazzi can get that car back to the pits. No. It's up in smoke now. Giovinazzi out of the race on lap 24. It's the end of the day's work. It's the end of the day's work for the Minardi team. And just to add insult to injury, Nicholas Latifi has posted the fast lap of the race, which means Scott Dixon and Minardi no longer have that. And change that fact there because El Bamba has just taken the fast lap away from Nicholas Latifi. But either way, Minardi will not be coming away with any points from China. That promotes Kevin Estra up into 3rd place for Onyx. The last time they finished on the podium was in Brands Hatch in Season 3 with Sebastian Bourdais. Latifi, who's coming up to back markers now. Jet Aiken has moved up, as has Roman Grosjean. Giovinazzi joins Buemi, Rosenquist, Verne, Dixon and Bell on the sidelines. And make that Brendan Hartley now as well because he's just pulled off with some form of problem. It's a puncture that has caused the Kiwi to retire. And it's going to be another race without points unfortunately for Kevin McMullen's team. And should Fittipaldi not score, it'll be 6 races without a point for them. And a problem for BAR with Nicholas Latifi! Another front runner goes from this race before half race distance. El Bamba takes over the lead. Latifi retires. Up to 2nd place goes Kevin Estra for Onyx. It's race over for Nicholas Latifi. It's a gearbox problem. Yet another retirement. And into the lead goes the late house of El Bamba. 10 seconds clear over Kevin Estra. One unbelievable race we have had so far, with so many of the top drivers dropping out already. El Bamba has the fast lap point at the moment. And we've got Mitch Evans slowing in the manor. What on earth is going on out there? Oh, and that's the wheel falling off there. It looks like a suspension problem for Mitch Evans. So he's the next driver to go. And the rear wing falls off there as he hits the wall. Now, bearing in mind, Grosjean will be excluded from the race for taking out Christopher Bell on the opening lap. McLaughlin has that time penalty, which will drop him out of the points. So we've got Bamber in the lead and Newgarden in 4th. With the fast lap point to go with that, that'll give them 38 championship points. And should they remain there, they'll be tied on points with leaders Prost. And should Bamber remain as the race winner, Latehouse will take over the lead on countback. Bamber will move up to 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship as it stands. Regunathan has moved up to 3rd place in the BAR. McLaughlin and Grosjean's penalties will see Naz and Ericsson move up to the points, or move up into the points. Fiat will move up to 11th, Behrman 12th, and Van Gisbergen 13th. Bamber on lap 28, looking good for his 2nd Grand Prix World Series win. Gunnathan, who's had a rocky season. Not a lot has gone right for him since his win in Solder, but he's doing a fine job here so far. Estra in 2nd place and Vantor in 5th. That will give Onyx 28 championship points. And we'll see them move in front of Manor. Go on to 70 points. 37 points above the drop zone, which that'll pretty much guarantee them League 1 racing for next season. Second, third and 4th place drivers in your picture. Estra, Regunathan and Newgarden. Vantor is another 4.5 seconds behind Newgarden. Vantor has got Marcello for company and Kirkwood. Jack Aiken doing a fine race in place of the suspended Antonio Felix da Costa. Nazar is about to be overtaken by his teammate Marcus Ericsson, who goes through. Marcus Ericsson, the reigning League 2 Drivers' Champion. He's struggled so far this season. He has set out a number of races. There's been a bit of musical chairs going on at Fonmatel. Marcus Ericsson set out the last 2. He's had 4 points finishes this season. He's best of 6th in Argentina. On the 31st lap in League 1 in Zhuhai. It's been a race to remember for Latehouse, not so for Prost, who won't be scoring today. Kirkwood in 7th place for Arrows, but Rosenquist is out of the race as well. Will we get any more twists in this one? We've got the second round of pit stops to come as well. You see Shane van Gisbergen, who's behind Ollie Berman for position. Man, I could do with a point out of this, given where Von Mattel are right now and where Onyx are. You see Rigonathan ahead of Newgarden. Topless is the next round after this. We've got the upgrade window, which will give the team managers a chance to improve reliability and horsepower. And it's race over, unfortunately, for Joseph Newgarden in the Leighton-house. Unless he can bring that car back to the pits, it's curtains for him. It's a body blow to his championship hopes. And this will allow Lawrence Vansor to go up into 4th place in the Onyx. Losing oil and ground to those ahead. Through goes Lawrence Vansor. And now he's past the pit entry. Joseph Newgarden retires from the League One Zhuhai Grand Prix. He'll complete the lap, but he won't get to the end. Another championship contender has dwindled in this one and nearly colliding with the Mastercard Lola and the Von Mattel there. But another one goes from this race. Not what Leighton-house needed. That confirms that Prost will leave Zhuhai still in the lead in both the drivers and the teams championships. And there is Ericsson, who's trying to get through on Grosjean, who's essentially racing under appeal now. But I doubt it'll get changed. And Rigonathan is on fire in the BAR, and he's also out. From 3rd place, he goes as well. Another engine problem for him. And that allows Lawrence Vansor to go up into 3rd position. Team manager Ryan Ferris must be in dreamland right now. What an unbelievable race this has turned out to be. And Grosjean is about to be overtaken by Marcus Ericsson into turn 1. And that move was coming all along. Now McLaughlin is further up ahead. He's trying to bridge out as much of a gap as possible. He's currently 1.5 seconds behind 6th place Jack Aiken. And McLaughlin's time penalty will drop him to, at the moment it'll be 12th because Grosjean's disqualification will stand. So if you can pull out further of a gap, McLaughlin might get a point out of this. And if he does get a point, he'll close in on Verne. But this man, El Bamba, will be moving up the table. Newgarden won't be scoring. McLaughlin is unlikely to be scoring. Verne won't be scoring. Rosenquist won't be scoring. Buemi won't be scoring. Bamba will most likely not get another day like this. Rafael Marcello comes in for his final stop from what was 4th position. He'll get out in some clean air as well, which will help his race. I'd imagine that Lawrence Vansor will respond to that by coming in. 18 plus 15. 33 championship points coming in the way for Onyx at the moment. Which would take their total up to 75 as Kobayashi comes in for his last stop. He's gone down a lap. He's overtaken by Pietro Fittipaldi. Onyx will go on to 75, which will more or less guarantee them safety for another season. Ericsson comes in, as does Grosjean. See Vanthoor in P3 ahead of Kirkwood, Aiken and McLaughlin. Now, Scott McLaughlin may decide to pit in the near future, might have to come in this lap to try and get some clear air. Bamber comes in from the lead, Fittipaldi comes in for Pacific. What will the two Onyxes decide to do? Well, Estra's gone into the lead now. I never thought I'd be saying this, but Kevin Estra is leading the League One Zhuhai Grand Prix. Bamber's just come out of the pits. He's in front of Lawrence Vanthoor. Felipe Nasser in for Von Mattel. Right on the tail of Bamber, but remember Vanthoor is still yet to make his last stop. Kvyat now in for Morscod Lola. There's Fittipaldi, who's in between Vanthoor and Kirkwood on the road. And into the pits comes Estra, who's only in the lead for a lap. He's now in. Vanthoor will stay out. Bamber will take back over the lead. And he is on course for his second win of the season. An important one of that. And it's a busy pit lane now because Kirkwood, McLaughlin and Aiken are all in. Now, the last time Onyx got both cars on the podium, I don't think they ever have, unless I'm mistaken with that. They haven't actually. They've never had both cars on the podium. And one driver who is not going to be on the podium is Raffaele Marciello for Force India. And that's a terrible shame because they were having a brilliant race. And team manager Ed Spencer is not going to see both of the cars make it to the end. It's another race without points for the Italian. Raffaele Marciello retires from the race. And that will only help Scott McLaughlin. He's trying to bridge out as much of a gap as possible. Given the number of cars left in the race, he may well get a point out of this. Vanthoor comes in from second place. Vitally important, he gets out in front of Kyle Kirkwood and Jet Aiken, most certainly. There goes Estra back into P2. Vanthoor comes out of the pits and he'll rejoin ahead of Jet Aiken. Providing there's no mechanical gremlins, Onyx are on course for a double podium. And Scott McLaughlin attempting to get a move done on Kyle Kirkwood. Can't quite do it on this occasion, unfortunately. Although Kirkwood may have an issue. He has, and he's just allowed McLaughlin to go through. And Kirkwood could well be joining his teammate on the sidelines here. This is not happening. This cannot be happening for the Arrows team. It's all falling apart for them here. And Ericsson will go through. Nasser will go through in a moment. Grosjean will go through as well. Nasser gets through, no problem there. Kirkwood will just need to get back to the pits, but he can't now. He's off the track and he's out of the race. We're down to 13 runners in this one, including Romain Grosjean, who will be excluded for taking out Christopher Bell. Scott McLaughlin's time penalty would drop him to 10th place now because of Grosjean's disqualification. So McLaughlin is on course for a championship point. But he'll obviously want to try and get more. Albamba on his way to victory as things stand. But we've seen so many twists in races like we never ever would imagine. Onyx's last victory came in the League One Buenos Aires Grand Prix in Season 2 with Sebastian Bourdais. Pietro Fittipaldi, who, to be fair, hats off to him, has remained in this one. We may well get a few more not finishing here. He might just get a point out of this. We can just see Albamba trying to lap Kamui Kobayashi. And we see Romain Grosjean running wide there. That's at turn 5. But has got away with it. And this will be a huge shame for Mastercard Layla because they needed these points. And it is under appeal. And there's another car on fire. It's Felipe Nasser for Fon Metal. Got him for the team. Another race without points for him. What on earth is happening here in Zhuhai? It's breaking down cars left, right and centre. It's good news for Mastercard Layla and for Pacific and for Manor as well. Through goes Grosjean. Nasser is out of the race. He just needs to be careful. This is where we've seen incidents happen. Through goes Kobayashi. And through goes... Oh, that was Ollie Berman, my apologies. Nasser off the track. It's no points for him. Albamba still leading by 22 seconds. He's lapped Kamui Kobayashi. And Manor now up into the points now with Van Gisbergen. With Grosjean's disqualification. And I've just noticed that Van Tor has dropped back. He must have had to make another pit stop. If that's the case, that's terrible luck for the Onyx team. That's a huge disappointment, but that's allowed Von Metal to go up into 5th place with Ericsson. McLaughlin is now 4th on circuit. The time penalty would drop him to 9th. Kobayashi will go up into the points with Grosjean's disqualification, but Fittipaldi will miss out. But there's still time. Just 12 cars left in this race. There is Bamber. Kevin Estre in second place. Jack Aiken, on his substitute appearance for Antonio Felix da Costa, is in third position for Force India. McLaughlin fourth and Ericsson fifth. In the Drivers' Championship race, Earl Bamber will go up into third place. And will go on to 106 points. 105, sorry. He'll be 6 points off the lead of Buemi and Rosenquist. Now McLaughlin, if he does get 9th, he closes to within a point of who would be 4th place Jean-Luc Verne. Newgarden won't be scoring. In the Teams Championship, Prost will remain in the lead, but their gap over Leighton will cut down by 26 points. What was a 38 point gap at the beginning of the round, it'll just be 12. Arrows won't be scoring, unfortunately, and HRT will only be getting a couple of points out of this, so it's looking as though it's going to be a 2-horse race for the title in the Teams Championship. At the bottom end, with Estre second and Van Tor, he'll get 5th place out of this. I'll give them 28 championship points, moving them on to 70. As we see Grosjean lock up. Manor will get 2 points out of this as it stands. Or make that 4 actually. So we'll get 4 championship points, which will move them on to 49. Von Mattel, who have got Ericsson in 5th place, will give them 10 championship points. And just to correct myself, in fact, Ericsson will get 4th position because of McLaughlin's penalty. But not anymore now. His engine's got in smoke. A missed opportunity for team manager Ewan Gale. Marcus Ericsson retires, and it's no points for the team. And could that be the beginning of the end of their time in League One? That allows Van Tor to go back up into 5th position on circuit. Grosjean 6th, but will drop back because of his disqualification. So Kvyat will be in 5th place. Behrman will be 6th. Van Gisbergen 7th. And it'll be McLaughlin 8th, Kobayashi 9th, and Fittipaldi in 10th place. Heart-wrenching for Von Mattel, who are looking so good. But now Marscott Lola look as though they're going to be getting a good haul of points now. Fifth place it would be for Kvyat. So that's 10 championship points that will see them leapfrog Von Mattel. And close in on Manor. This race has taken by surprise here in Zhuhai, and it's still not finished yet. 7 laps to go. There is Kevin Estre in 2nd place. There's Kobayashi locking up there in the Simtek. I did say earlier in the race that Kobayashi wouldn't score a point, given how so far back he was. But now he's within the box seat for a couple of points, and Fittipaldi's on course for something as well. But there is Earl Bamber. He's hoping that no mechanical gremlins rob him of victory now. Six laps away from victory. You see Jack Aiken in third position for Force India. They have celebrated a podium on 3 occasions this season. They are looking good as well. You see McLaughlin. If it wasn't for that error earlier on with I can't remember who it was that he had punted off the circuit or ran into the rear of. It was the rear wing of Kamui Kobayashi he ran into. He'd have been within contention, genuine contention for the Drivers' Championship. So to be fair, team manager John Munro will have the right to appeal if that is what he wants to do. Now you can see the Leighton House of Earl Bamber, 6th in the Drivers' Championship coming into this round. He'll be 3rd with the way things are going, and he'll be 6 points off the championship lead with 4 races to go. It's going to be a huge Titanic scrap. Jack Aiken, who didn't score points in his previous appearance at Mark Hewitt Park when he substituted for Antonio Felix da Costa, well, he's certainly going to get more than just a point. Brilliant sight for Ed Spencer, Jack Aiken, who raced for the team in League 2 as well, full time. Aiken in 3rd position, in front of McLaughlin. As it stands, will finish in P8. And 4 championship points would move him in front of Verne, but will remain in 4th position because of Bamber winning today. Buemi won't be scoring, neither will Rosenquist, neither will Verne, neither will Newgarden. Bamber, who, if he was to encounter a problem but come back to the pits, he'll rejoin 2nd behind Estra. He'll only be about 3 seconds off him on fresher tyres. He might still be able to pass him before the flag, but it would be too much of a tall order with there being only so few laps left. Aiken for Force India in 3rd position. What a drive it has been from him. He'd finished 2nd at Laguna Seca as part of the 1-2 with Rafael Marcello to get Force India onto the League 1 grid this campaign. impressive as Jack Aiken in his appearances for Ed Spencer's team. Lawrence Vantor will be very happy to get a 4th place finish, which will give Onyx 30 championship points. And that would move them on to 72. Marscolola we're getting 10 championship points. Moving them on to 38, leapfrogging from Mattel. Onyx will be 34 points from the relegation zone. As for Manor, Van Gisbergen getting 6 championship points. Move on to 51. Now 51 points should be enough to seal survival for Manor, but they'll probably want to get more than just 51. Bamber is on his penultimate lap now. Jack Aiken is just under a couple of seconds clear over McLaughlin. We see Kevin Estra in 2nd place. He'll just want the checker flag to come out now. He hasn't got long. Earl Bamber has started the last lap of the race. It's been a car breaker. What a performance from Bamber today. To get on the front row of the field. On pole position. Fast up in the race win, which will move him to within 5 points of the championship lead. And Lightenhouse will move closer to Prost in the team's championship, setting up for an intensifying last quarter of the season. Earl Bamber has just got a few more corners to get through, and the checker flag will be waiting for him. And this will be a pleasing sight for team manager Chris Cavani. He'll be relieved to see this result. Earl Bamber wins the League One Zhuhai Grand Prix. A phenomenal drive, a convincing one. And we go to Earl Bamber. Well, just before we go to Earl Bamber, Kobayashi will pick up some points. And Fittipaldi will pick up a point for Pacific. Their first point for 6 races. Kevin Estra, 2nd place for Onyx. Their first podium of the season. What a drive by him. And then we see Jack Aiken for Force India, substituting for Antonio Fitz-DaCosta. Is going to bag another podium for the team. And what a drive from him. McLaughlin's time penalty will see him drop back. So Lawrence Vantor will be 4th in the 2nd Onyx. Much needed points for them. And then we see Roman Grosjean will be disqualified from the race despite finishing in P6. And Kvyat will move up to 5th, Behrman 6th, and Van Gisbergen in 7th place. But there's your race winner. It is Earl Bamber for Lightenhouse in Zhuhai. Kevin Estra 2nd, Jack Aiken 3rd, Lawrence Vantor in 4th position. What a day for the Onyx team and for Ryan Ferris. Danny Kvyat 5th for Marscard Lola. Ollie Behrman 6th. Shane Van Gisbergen 7th. Scott McLaughlin is 8th after his time penalty. Kamui Kobayashi 9th. And Pietro Fittipaldi is in 10th place and the last of the finishers. Marcus Ericsson out with an oil leak. The same for Felipe Nasser. What a missed opportunity for the team. Carl Kirkwood, Rafael Marciello, Matthew Ragunathan, Joseph Newgarden out. Mitch Evans, Nicholas Latifi, Brendan Hartley, Antonio Giovinazzi. Sebastian Buemi, who were lost, which is a big one. The same for Felix Rosenquist. Jean-Luc Verne also out from spinning off. Scott Dixon retiring early on, and as did Christopher Bell on the opening lap of the race. Romain Grosjean, who caused the accident involving Bell and McLaughlin, is disqualified, and banned for the next race in Autopolis, of which Mick Schumacher will substitute for him again. The pole position and fast lap points went to Earl Bamber. The title race is still very much on in the Drivers' Championship. Buemi not scoring. Rosenqvist not scoring. Verne not scoring. Newgarden not scoring. McLaughlin coming away with 4 championship points, but it's Bamber who is the beneficiary of all of this. He moves up to 3rd place in the championship, and with the pole position fast lap points, he is now 5 points off the championship lead of Sebastian Buemi, who's tied also with Felix Rosenqvist. It's game on in the final 4 races of the season. A day to remember for Onyx and for team manager Ryan Ferris. That result has pretty much guaranteed them League 1 racing for next season, making it a 4-way battle between Manor, Mars Codlela, Von Mattel and Pacific to beat the drop. It's time to run down on the championship standings in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll see you for the next race in Autopolis in a couple of weeks' time. What a race! Topher, it's over to you, sir.
Well, I don't think anyone could have predicted that finishing order. A lot of drama today in Zhuhai, a lot of attrition in the League 1 race especially, and an unexpected top 3. Earl Bamber taking another win this season to get himself into championship contention, but behind him, Kevin Estre taking his first ever Grand Prix World Series podium and Onyx's first of the season, and Jack Aitken on a substitute appearance in the Force India, picking up his first podium of the season. So much going on in the race, there's too much to recap. So let's get straight to the driver standings after that one. And with no scores for Buemi and Rosenqvist, they stay deadlocked on 111 points each, while Earl Bamber's victory has shot him up to 3rd in the standings, only 5 points behind our championship leaders. It's really hotting up in the League 1 Drivers' Championship. Scott McLaughlin is 4th on 91 points, ahead of Jean-Eric Verne on 89. Joseph Newgarden keeping touch on 83 points as well. And it is looking like this season's League 1 Drivers' Champion will be coming out of those top 6 drivers. Kamui Kobayashi 7th on 59, ahead of Mahaviro Kudeth on 54. Raffaele Marcello also on 54, and Scott Dixon in 10th on 46 points with another retirement this season. Looking at the team standings, Prost didn't pick up any points today, so Leighton House with his victory today has closed that gap to 11 points, 200 plays 189, and with arrows a further 50 behind, it is looking like the League 1 team's title will be between Prost and Leighton House this season. HRT sits 4th at 128, closing in on the Arrows team. They could potentially snatch that top 3 position by the end of the season. Simtek at 102, Force India on 99, Minardi on 81, BAR also on 81, while Onyx's mega results today with a 2nd place and 4th place finishes has shot them up to 9th on 72 points, and they are now looking safe from relegation. Manor is down to 10th on 51, still ahead of Mascar Lola, Von Mattel and Pacific Grand Prix. That's going to be an almighty battle in the remaining few rounds of this championship. Well, Zhuhai has produced an absolute classic today in both races, League 2 and League 1, producing some amazing action. We can't wait to see what the remaining rounds of this season will bring us. Next time out, we will be at Autopolis in Japan, making its debut on the Grand Prix World Series calendar. The track has hosted a Group C challenge before in the Retro Racing Managers League, and now it's time for the Grand Prix World Series cars to make their debut at the Japanese circuits. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.